Welcome to Obi-Wan Studios, and today, oh man, I have quite the legendary set for today's review, the 7163 Republic Gunship, this being the first ever LEGO Star Wars Republic Gunship set ever, and it's just truly an incredible set, and I still can't believe I'm going to unseal it and review it in today's video. The Republic Gunship released April of 2002 for $90 and retired at the end of 2003. Today, if you want one sealed in the box like my example here, the reality is that you're going to be paying over $1,000 for it just based on sales data from Brick Economy and really any eBay listing you'll ever find. And knowing I planned on opening up this set and building it for the review just to kind of help share in the hype for Jedi Bob's Starfighter releasing at the beginning of August, I tried to find a sealed version in decent condition just to not pay that mint box premium price. So mine certainly has dents and wear on it, but it's still a not too bad of an example of an original gunship in terms of the box condition. The 7163 Republic Gunship contains 686 pieces and a ton of minifigs. We have 4 Phase 1 clone troopers. We have Jedi Bob. Of course, at the time of release, he was simply known as just an unnamed Jedi for this set. 2 Pearl Sand Blue Super Battle Droids and 1 Destroyer Droid build, which gives us quite the lineup in this set. Now, the box art for this set is just awesome. To me, this style of box art is the one that I have the most nostalgia for, with the silver circle acting as kind of the window for the set and the scene. And I love how this box just brings you back to Attack of the Clones, with the clones coming in to rescue all of the Jedi. The gunship flying out of the arena on Geonosis is just such a vibe. Also seeing Jedi Bob and the clone troopers fighting the droids on the box. Just, man, what a time in LEGO Star Wars. Turning the box to the back, we have the set's play features highlighted, some of the other Episode 2 sets that released for that initial Attack of the Clones wave, and then the 2 alternate builds also. Alright, now it's at this point here, it's time to unseal this set. I know I always say in my videos to subscribe if you want to support the channel and if you enjoy my reviews, but seriously, I'm about to unseal the original Republic Gunship for you guys. So if you could subscribe to the channel, I would just really appreciate it. It does truly help get my reviews out there to more people and help the channel grow. So please support the channel in that way if you like my videos, and hey, even just for getting a sealed version of the original Republic Gunship to open up for this review, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. Now, our box has 4 seals on it, 1 on each side and 2 at the very front. Cutting all of those open, the set's entire top just tilts back. So here the moment is opening up the original Republic Gunship. Now, normally in my videos, I don't really go over a full unboxing experience, but because of what this set is, I thought it would be fun to go over it in a little bit more detail so you guys can experience it with me. All of the contents were a bit all over the place inside of the box, moving around in there for over 20 years. The instructions manual has some wear on it, but overall it came out in decent condition. You can see on the first page, it has you building all of the minifigs, and I'm just super excited to add Jedi Bob to my collection. And then at the very back of the manual, you have these amazing pages dedicated to other sets from this time. I always love this part about the older manuals. These advertisement pages for the other sets were just always done so well. Sifting through the box contents, we have a little LEGO 2002 flyer, and this thing is just such a time capsule. The page for LEGO Star Wars is obviously the coolest part of it. The advertisement for Jedi Defense 1 and 2 I especially love, Jedi Defense 1 being my first LEGO Star Wars set ever when I was a kid. Then lastly in the box as well, we have the sticker sheet, and hopefully all of these want to actually stick to the gunship when I build it. And that's the unboxing experience, and I hope you guys all enjoyed the documentation of it. Organizing all of the box's contents, in total there are 9 numbered bags, each having that old school, more solid printing on them with the large LEGO and Star Wars logos on them. Of course, we have the instructions manual just showing that same killer box art on it, and then the sticker sheet 2 here giving you guys a little bit of a better look at it. And then I almost missed these 2 little magnets that are just left loose flying around inside of the box. So if you buy this set, just make sure you don't forget about these. Alright, moving on to our minifigures first, let's start off with our clone troopers. We have 4 Phase 1 clones in this set, which is a pretty solid number for a Republic Gunship set. Taking one of them to look in closer detail, one thing that just screams classic LEGO is the way the original Clone Trooper helmets were designed, with the window through them just letting the black of the head underneath complete the look for the visor. One thing that I've noticed too is that all of my clones' helmet printing isn't that great. Even for the time, it just looks a touch sloppy to me. Whether it's uneven, off-center, or just a bad print in general, they all seem to suffer from it, and these are the first original Phase 1 clones that I've ever owned, so I'm not sure how out of the norm my examples are in this case, but it's certainly a bit of an unideal experience with this set that I'm having. The clones have a nice armor print on the body, and then that black waist helps to break up the color of the all-white legs nicely, just gets more of the black into the color scheme. There is also a nice looking back print on these guys as well, which just is a nice touch for some extra detail. Lastly, they come with the original style Star Wars blaster. You just can't help but have nostalgia for this original look. Overall, I like these Phase 1 clones a lot, just a little bit annoying that their helmet prints aren't super good. Up next is the really exciting one here, Jedi Bob, or the unnamed Jedi as he was known as back in 2002. Now, I got this set largely in part to add Jedi Bob to my collection and to be able to make a comparison between the original and the new one coming out for August, which I'm super excited to do. Jedi Bob has a brown hood, which is a huge part of his iconic look, taking it off to get a better look at his face print, and it's just so cool to see in person. Who would have thought that this generic face print would become so iconic and so popular in LEGO Star Wars? Jedi Bob has a great looking Jedi robe body print, then brown legs to match his hood and cape. Turning him around and removing the cape, we do not have any back printing on him, which honestly isn't too big of a deal since the cape covers it up anyway, but I hope that new Jedi Bob minifig has a really nice back print. Lastly, he comes with the classic chrome lightsaber hilt and a green blade. These are just hands down the best looking lightsabers in my opinion. I really like Jedi Bob. He's such a cool part of the history of LEGO Star Wars, and finally adding him to my collection is certainly a big moment that is just nice to be able to share with you guys. Turning now to our droids, we have two Pearl Sand Blue Super Battle droids. The original version of these in this color is certainly very striking, and this is the only set that they ever came in, which is really cool. I really like how they also match the Technic Super Battle droid, a set I've reviewed recently on the channel. Both of those being in that same color, it just looks so cool, and even though it's not accurate, I just really like it. The design of these supers otherwise is really good, lots of great details in the molds, and it's amazing how great the initial design of these droids were. One thing you do have to keep in mind with these ones, however, is how fragile the joints and the hands are on these guys. To put the legs and arms on for the review was certainly a bit sketchy. The connections just felt kind of tight and there was a lot of resistance, but now I'm just going to be displaying them and not using them at all, so that aside, these Super Battle droids are just awesome. Lastly, we have one Destroyer droid. This original version is regarded by many as the best ever, and while this one is my personal favorite just purely because of the nostalgia I have for it since I got two in my very first LEGO Star Wars set ever, I don't really think LEGO has ever made a great minifig sized droideka. I just don't think any of them have ever been that good, but getting one in the set is certainly a nice addition though, and it just really brings me back to my childhood and nice to have just for a little bit more of a separatist droid army in the set. Taking our minifigs all together, this set really delivered on providing an excellent lineup. Republic Gunship sets should have a lot of clones in them, and 4 I think is a great number. A clone pilot or 2 just would have really taken the set over the top, but 4 regular Phase 1 clone troopers is certainly a great number. Jedi Bob is also just obviously the highlight in terms of the minifigs, followed by those Pearl Sand Blue Supers as well, which are just incredible looking, but overall here we just have a fantastic minifig lineup in this set. Moving on now to our gunship build, and this thing looks so good. It's a bit of a larger build than I was expecting it to be, which is a nice bonus. Honestly, from not super close up, it doesn't even look that dated, especially from more of a front view. The shaping I think was done exceptionally well across the board, especially when you consider that this design is over 20 years old, and it just really set the foundation for all future gunship sets. It's just really cool to be able to look at the original and see where it all began as far as Republic gunships are concerned. Now let's dive into all of the cool details and features of this gunship. Starting off at the front of the build, we have the front laser cannon section with that really nice pop of green, contrasting so nicely against the white body and the red highlights on the gunship. We have the two forward laser cannons, and the ends are certainly fragile, as you can see from me trying to show their range of motion for you guys. The tips just fall off very easily. One small complaint from a display perspective that I have with this section is how they cannot face fully forward, so you can't totally replicate the most ideal look for display. Otherwise, the shaping of this section and how they fit these into the green front section was done very well, especially for 2002. At the very front as well, we have this one white flag piece to just try and attempt to get the angle of the front in there. Now, this does look rather odd, but when you compare it to the source material, there is actually a similarly shaped panel on the very front of the in-universe gunships. According to the Attack of the Clones cross-section, it is a clamp for the escape capsule. No idea what that is on gunships. I don't think I've ever seen it in the Clone Wars or in any of the other media, so no idea what that actually is, but this piece actually works not too terribly to represent that part. On the sides of the gunship, we have a lot of stickers which do add so much detail into the build. I'm happy to say that so far the stickers have stuck on very well. I got no issues to report on that front. The larger ones add in a lot of the gray color scheme to the front sides, as well as just some nice detailing of the individual parts kind of on the side of the gunship there. Further up near the cockpit, there are these little triangle stickers along the upper portion of the sides, which are just such a nice touch for some more fine details. Just before the troop compartment as well, there are two more stickers adding in a lot more detail to this small pillar. Now taking a look at the cockpit sections, I think this area overall looks really nice. The mixture of the light and dark red breaks up the all red color scheme a little bit, but with that said, that light red is not accurate to the in-universe color scheme, but I personally think it looks fine. The windshield for the cockpits are this older style of piece that I just remember having on my original Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter, one of my favorite sets when I was a kid, so certainly there is a lot of personal nostalgia for me when it comes to these windshield pieces. To access the cockpit, you just lift them up as they are only attached by studs at the back. Inside of the cockpit, we have a printed control panel in each cockpit, and then plenty of room for our clone trooper to fit inside. He looks pretty good in there with the windshield back on as well. I just really wish we got one or two clone pilots in this set as well, just to have those guys go in there instead of the regular clone troopers. Getting to the midsection of the gunship, we have the main troop hold. On the sides, we have these really nice printed bubble turrets. They can extend outwards and have some controls for a clone to sit in and man them. Now, the main side doors on the set don't actually fully close. They just go from being open to more open, but it's still a very fun play feature. The doors themselves look rather good, their shape is nice, and the black tiles represent those viewports nicely. Inside the main troop hold with the bubble turrets out, we have plenty of room to place the minifigs all inside, and at the back there is a control panel and even storage for the clones' blaster rifles. Just above this section, we have a printed Republic logo, which looks really good, and then a storage container. It's small, but can fit some of the accessories that you're given for the clone troopers. This is all mirrored on both sides of the gunship as well. Moving back up to the top, there is actually a hatch that opens up for a little compartment. We have these gray pipe pieces and this translucent blue piece inside of it, and I believe this is to show the repulsor array power conduits. This is a cool touch that honestly really didn't need to be added in, but the extra mile is certainly appreciated. And then we have the two missile launchers. These overall I think look really good. Perhaps they're a bit too narrow at the very front ends, but they're still overall I think a really good design. The shaping and scale of them really works on this gunship. The backs of them have one last sticker on each side as well, just for that little bit of extra detail. In the middle of them we have this really oddly printed piece that lifts up. It's kind of in the missile belt thread area, but I have no idea what this is for. This part is even lifted up on the gunship on the box, but I just have no idea why this is here, but the detail in the print does look really good. Moving to the wings, they are attached to the gunship in a pretty clever way. Each wing has two hinge pieces that allow them to tilt downwards, and then these red sloped Technic pieces hold them at the right angle and stop the wings from moving any more downwards. The overall result is pretty great, and I just really appreciate the design of this just to get it down right all the way back then. As for the wings themselves, the shaping of them looks pretty good, not quite as refined as modern day versions as to be expected though. There is a really great sticker which adds a majority of the detail on the wings. On the ends we have the other bubble turrets, these being the remote controlled unmanned ones, so not being able to place a clone inside is actually not something I consider to be a downside of the design or a lacking play feature. There is only the top half of the bubble turret, which is the same print as the man ones on the side of the gunship, but they still look really good on the wings and just kind of help to add that iconic look on the ends of the gunship wings. At the back of the gunship, we have another really nice printed piece for the thrust exhaust. It looks so good. And just below it, there is a final laser cannon at the back, which also can tilt around like the very front ones. Now, the lower rear of the gunship is where we really see the builds age the most. The blue hinges for the doors stick out a lot. And I mean a lot. I really wish these could have been white, black, red, even green, just something that goes with the gunship's color scheme a lot more, but the blue just sticks out so much, so that's just one area that just doesn't look that good on this gunship and just is very dated looking. There is no slope upwards at the back as well from the troop hold. Instead, we just have that back wall that goes up vertically from the troop hold. There are some red translucent bricks though, which do look cool on the very ends of it. Now, it's at this point here you might think the review is pretty much done, but this build has a party piece to it and I've saved it for last because it's just wild. Now, in order to access it, you first lift up the whole cockpit section and then the front splits apart to reveal kind of a deployed command center sort of interior. This is just wild that the designers thought to add this in and did it quite successfully. Just for ease of access and to show you all better, I'm just going to take the whole cockpit section off and detach it from the gunship. In this deployed interior command post section, we have the use of those two little magnets. They hold up this large crate with the translucent sides that then can tilt up. Inside of it, there is a small build with a control panel and some tools attached. You also get an oil can and little drill for extra accessories, and then all of these I just assume are for the clones to use in case they need to work on the gunship if it gets shot down, for something like that. Now that crate is actually accessible as well when the gunship is in its standard flying mode. You simply reach underneath the gunship and pull on it and the magnets will detach, and then you can deploy that little crate on the battlefield if you want, and then to reattach it you simply just put it back in that slot and the magnets will reattach, holding it in place. So a really cool play feature that you can access in the standard gunship mode as well. There are also two identical control panels attached to the walls, and then a little walkway into the troop hold, and you can pretend the clones can walk back and forth, but they are too big to actually fit through it normally. Now what's also cool is that on the back of the box it actually shows you detaching the entire top section of the gunship and leaving the bottom command post behind. At this point it's kind of like an LAAT or Republic Dropship, which is cool. The designers thought to try and make the ship turn into something that represents that variant of the Republic Gunship also. Honestly, this feature is just insane. You wouldn't even dream to have something like this on a modern gunship build, and it's not like this thing altered the shaping or structure of the front of the gunship at all. You get a huge feature at the cost of just a little bit of a larger gap at the front than maybe you'd expect or really want for strictly display purposes, but that's really the only tell from just looking at the build, so massive props to the designers on actually incorporating this feature so well. Now, of course, one important factor to any Republic gunship that I can't leave out of this review is how solid and well built the gunship actually is overall. Since it's from 2002, you would be forgiven to think that the build might be a bit fragile and not super sturdy. However, you can comfortably pick it up with one hand just above the troop hold and swoosh it around, giving it a little shake even. Nothing feels like it's going to break off or that there's really anything catastrophic going to happen to the structure and integrity of the gunship. And while the gunship does feel very solid in your hands, if you want to be cautious, I'd recommend one hand underneath it as well when moving it. Oh man, this set is just incredible. I love how you can see where all of the other gunships have improved upon this one's initial design over the years, but even so, at 22 years old at the time of me making this review, it's still such a great build. I really do love this gunship overall. It has the perfect blend of play features, thoughtful design, and then of course that nostalgic, classic LEGO aesthetic, and then you add in the minifigs to the equation. Man, what a killer lineup! A great amount of clone troopers, 4 in total, Jedi Bob, who is just iconic at this point, those exclusive Pearl Sand Blue Super Battle Droids, and then a Droideka. Honestly, it's just missing even one Phase 1 clone trooper pilot. That would have just made this lineup over the top absolutely phenomenal. So with all of that said, is this set worth the over $1,000 cost sealed in box today? Honestly, I'm not even going to try and justify it in this video, but I will say I am just so excited to finally own this set. It's certainly the cornerstone of my LEGO Star Wars collection at this point, and now I just got to figure out where to display it where it won't get dust on it, because it's not going to fit in any of my kind of cover display cases at this point in time, unfortunately. Thank you for watching my review on the 7163 Republic Gunship. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I really appreciate you. And if you want to support the channel and these reviews that I make, and you haven't subscribed already at this point, go ahead and please hit that subscribe button. It's truly the best way to support the channel, the reviews I make, and just even as a thanks for the effort that I try and put into these videos for you guys. If you did enjoy the review, please leave a like on the video, and don't forget to let me know your thoughts on the set in the comments down below. Do you think it's the best gunship ever? Did you own this set in the past, or is it part of your current collection now? Let me know all of your thoughts on this one in the comments down below. And thank you so much again for watching, and I really just appreciate all of the support the channel's gotten up until this point, and this awesome little community we're building here with the channel. It's just awesome to be able to share in these sets with you guys and build and review them on the channel. It's something I truly do enjoy. And as always too, don't forget to check out my YouTube channel for lots more LEGO Star Wars set reviews. Take care, and we'll see you on the next review.